Hello, this is going to be an updated review or thoughts on this camera, a Polaroid ID757 action camera, which was going to be one of my favorite action cameras of all time because I've used 16 of them until I found out that there was a little bit of a problem, I guess you could say a defect with this camera. Again, this is a problem with device video. This is my device, my experience with this device. I'm not trying to say that everyone is going to have this experience. I'm not trying to discourage you from buying the product. It's just because since I have it already, figured I might as well just make a video talking about it. So the reason this is kind of hanging out a little bit over here is just wanted to show you, this will be part of what I'm going to talk about, but this is the slot where you insert the memory card and the USB cable, and there's also a little reset button down there. So what happened with this camera is, I mean, was really excited about it. It did work very well for the most part. Dustproof design, you can't go wrong. A fantastic microphone. I mean, for such a cheap camera, about $29.99 is what I purchased it for. Video quality is not very good. Unfortunately, it was just kind of, the frames per second was not great, but very simple settings, very easy to use, and it's just a phenomenal microphone for picking up audio. With the dustproof design meant that I could really take this anywhere and not worry about it getting dirty. Even if it's like snowing a little bit, still have this camera looking very looking very clean. Sorry. So what is it about this camera that makes me say that it was going to be one of my favorite cameras, but there's a problem? So what happened was, just to kind of give you a little bit of an example, not an example, but just going to try to just explain what was happening here. So there's no micro SD memory card in here, so you can ignore that. But what's happening was I would press the record button. So I'd press the record button, everything's fine. It starts recording. There's a little red dot right here. It's recording. And then, like, after a couple minutes, on one occasion, and another occasion, after 4 minutes, the screen would just freeze completely. The screen would freeze. Like, the screen would be working. Everything, there's still, you can see what's in front of the camera. But the recording time, everything would freeze, and you couldn't even turn it off. Right? Normally, I would just say, okay, let me turn it off and turn it on again. No. It would freeze, and the only way to get it to work again was to wait for it to run out of battery. I didn't want to risk clicking the reset button in the middle of it. I also wanted to salvage the video file that it was in the process of recording. So I thought, okay, if it recorded for 4 minutes and it froze, maybe the video file is there. So on one occasion it did salvage the video file. On another occasion it didn't. And that made me realize, like, a lot of times with these action cameras, if you record something, you don't always have the option to record it again. Like, if it's like if it's a good video, you want to be able to have the video file. And if it freezes while recording, that's a problem. Even if it's 1 out of 10 times, you still never want to be in a situation where you record something, you take the effort to record something and it just freezes while recording, and then the only option is to wait for it to run out of battery, and then once you recharge it, to hope that A, the video file was there on the micro SD memory card, and 2, that it's not going to happen again. You don't want to rely on that. So unfortunately, I experienced this on 2 occasions, and that's when I thought, you know what, if I recorded 20 videos and 2 of them came out like this, as an example, meaning 2 of the recordings resulted in the screen freezing, I can't take my chances, because I don't really like the idea of spending effort to record a video if I might have a situation where it freezes. So unfortunately, this is a problem with my device. Again, this is a problem with my device. I did really like this camera. I love this camera, actually. Until I saw that twice on 2 occasions there would be a situation where the screen would just freeze. And I don't have video evidence of this happening. I decided not. I never really thought to do this because I didn't think I was going to make a video. But that's what happened. It would freeze. I promise I'm telling the truth here. This is just what happened on my device. But really, otherwise, it has a nice case. The microphone was fantastic. Dustproof design, very convenient to keep it in your pocket. Lightweight design. The battery's kind of built in here already. Surprised how lightweight this camera is with the battery. No complaints except for the fact that, unfortunately, my big complaint is that a couple of times the camera would just freeze while recording. And one of those 2 times the video file wasn't there, which is kind of too bad. So that's what happened. The Polaroid ID757. Just my thoughts. Maybe I'll buy another one in the future. Like, the seller has maybe, or the manufacturer, the company Polaroid, has different action cameras. This was just the cheapest one that I bought, the $29.99 one. And that is just the video. I think it'll be called Problem with Device, because it was a problem with my device, but I'm not going to tell you not to buy it. I'm not telling you, oh, well, all of these cameras are bad. I mean, for all I know, I mean, maybe you had a great experience. And I did also, I mean, I did have a great experience, except for the fact that just a little bit of a defect here. But those are my thoughts, kind of an updated review on a little problem I was having with this Polaroid ID757 camera. Trust me when I say that I'm telling the truth. I mean, this is the whole reason I made this video. I got a little bit discouraged because if you're recording, you don't want it to freeze. This is actually the first, out of the 16 action cameras that I used, this was the first one that had a problem like this. That's why it's not like, oh, well, cheap cameras, they break. I've had some cameras that were $15. They'll work perfectly. This one, unfortunately, did not work perfectly. So 1 out of 16, that's why it was a little bit of a unique situation, because usually cheap action cameras, even the cheap ones, they'll work. Maybe the video quality isn't the greatest, but they will work. This one did work, except for 2 occasions. And that was enough for me to say I probably won't be using this camera again, unfortunately. The Polaroid ID757. These are my thoughts on experiences with my device. Again, I'm not trying to tell you not to buy this product. Thanks for watching this video. Have a nice day. Polaroid action camera, problem with device.